Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
I'm honored today to have my president introduce me.
That's interesting.
One of the major difference between a brand that succeeds and those that don't, most times, is who they know. Why this is like that is because we as human beings will always relate to people we know, like, and trust. So how do we build our brands from the unknown to the point where they become impressed in the mind of our audience? No matter what you do, whether you're selling a product or service or promoting an event. Now, public relations seems to bridge this gap. This is so important because no matter how good your product is or your service is, if people don't know about what you do, it's as good as it doesn't exist. Recently, I had the privilege, my team and I had the privilege of coming up with a strategy for the just concluded Club Officers Training for Division P. And here, part of my project today is to share with you some of my strategies, and that's what I'm going to do now. Whenever I have a task at hand that has to do with public relations, the first thing that comes to my mind is my 4 M's. Now, the first M means it represents market, the second means message, the third means messenger, and the last M, wait, I'll tell you later. The first question is, when you're talking about market, is there a need for what you have to sell? Is there a need for the service you want to render? If it's a training, for instance, do people need that thing at that particular point in time? Coming back to my story with the Club Officers Training, it was at a point where we've elected new officers across the division. Some of them are new to this role for the first time. Some moved from one role to the other. So, in that sense, I think the training was timely. There was market for it. There was a need for the training to happen. So the first M has been covered. The second M then is, what's the message? What are we going to tell them to make them believe us to the point that they will have to attend the training? Not just that, but apply the training in their work as club officers, in their various clubs across the division. This was one of the hardest parts for us because you're not just dealing with one human being, you're not dealing with one club, you're not dealing with one area, but you're dealing with 19 clubs from different parts of northern Nigeria. We have clubs, currently in Abuja we have 14 clubs, and outside Abuja we have about 5 or so. We have in Kaduna, we have in Kano, we have in Katsina, we have in Jos. We even have some clubs that only meet online. We have members in those clubs, we have members from Bedugiri, different places, interesting places across the division. So now, what are you going to say that will make all of these people respond in the way you want them to? But that will lead me to my next end. Who is your messenger? Are you going to send this message yourself as your brand, or is someone representing you to send this message on your behalf? While we were deliberating on the various options, my team and I discovered that some of these people that we have to talk to are people that are senior in Toastmasters. So if we go ourselves, we may not get the kind of reaction we're looking for. We may not get the kind of response we're looking for. So we decided to involve our past and current leaders across the division. That is the genesis of all the videos you saw throughout that period till the day of the Club Officers Training. And I'm so happy to tell you that the first person that sent not just one video but 3 videos was or is distinguished Toastmaster Sonia. Please put them together. She set the tone for the rest of the people. Now with that, what we're able to do was we leveraged on our leaders' credibility to pass out the message in a way that the people will respond, not just respond, but come and attend the meeting. And apply the things they're going to learn throughout the meeting. Now, coming back to the main day of the meeting, we opened the meeting room 8:25. The meeting was supposed to start 8:30. We opened it 8:20, 8:25. And within 5 minutes of opening the meeting, we'll have over 50 people. That showed that our strategy was working. At a point in the meeting, we'll have over 118 people. So, regulations is not something, it's not cast in stone. You have different things that you want people need representation for. It could be for your personal brand, it could be for a product, it could be for a service, it could be for an event. And even events have different types. You have short events where you have little notice to prepare for. You have other events where you know ahead of time you are able to make adequate preparation. But whatever it is, remember this. You need to know your first end, which is your market. Is there a demand for what you want to say? Is there a demand for what you want to sell? Are there people looking for what you want to do now? Secondly, how do you communicate what you want to say to them in a way that will elicit the kind of response you want? It's not just about talking, but getting the response. Okay? For salespeople, you understand that your sales campaign is not complete until people really transfer money. So for us in the public vision space, what the measure of our effectiveness is what the people do, not how elaborate your strategies are. Then third, who is your messenger? Who is representing you? The reason why you see a lot of celebrities being endorsed by brands today is because they understand this part as well. They know that we like these people. We trust them. So if they associate themselves with such brand, we are going to follow them as well to the brand. So in your own organization, in your own business, at your workplace, who is representing you? If you're representing yourself, it's fine. But are you the kind of brand that will attract the kind of response you're looking for yet? If not, I would suggest you look for someone that represents you. In conclusion, Toastmasters and guests, there are different things that you may need to do for different occasions when you're planning your communication strategy. But always remember, you need to have a message. You need to have a messenger. You need to know your market. And lastly, what's the last thing?
Mentor.
Yeah, you say?
Money. Money or mentor?
Well, you can complete the last thing. It was myself.